Welcome back to the Nrg Valorant channel. Today, we'll be asked a series of questions. This is disagree, this is agree. We'll see where we stand.
All right. Valorant is more about aim than strategy.
I think it requires both. You can't just have one without the other. You need coordination and strategy in order to put everyone on the same page. And then you obviously need aim to execute on the plans that you've made.
I agree with that, but more so leaning towards aim. I think for like any FPS game, you can have the best strategy in the world, but if you get outshot, you'll lose.
Yeah, you just gotta kill him.
Yeah, you just need both.
You get shot in the head, you lose, but you need good alt strats too.
Most pros would be lost without aim trainers.
What?
You play the game enough, you don't need that.
I've never aim trained a day in my life.
I'll make it different.
Yeah, make it different.
I want to be different.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but like aim trainers help a little bit, so I don't think they'll be like, some people have talent and some people like need a little bit extra help.
If you've come from other FPSs and you've played like other FPSs before Valorant, for example, and you have like years of experience, your aim style isn't really going to change all that much. Obviously, the little extra help would help, but it isn't like, it's not a make or break.
If you just play the game, you're paid to play, you don't need to play anything else to help.
I think having an aim coach helps, but I don't think you need it to be good.
Game's more about movement than it is about aiming.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a hot take. Ask him more.
He
Ask him to
understands it.
elaborate.
Franchising has made the scene less competitive.
I mean, there's arguments to be made for both. I mean, you can say that some teams are gate-kept because of franchising, because there is a lot of good talent in Tier 2. At the same time, I feel like the pressure is a lot higher for the franchising teams to perform, so it kind of evens out.
I think franchise gives people less opportunities to compete, which in turn makes it less competitive.
Like the Tier 2 scene?
Yeah, and I feel like there's multiple Tier 2 teams that can be competitive with franchise teams.
Yeah, I mean, basically like a mix of what John and Ethan said. Like, there are Tier 2 players that sometimes don't get opportunities, but at the same time, if you're in Tier 1, there's a lot more pressure.
I mean, Ethan took my answer.
I have the same answer as Ethan.
Nice.
Let's go, bro.
Back in line.
Managed by Rai is a good talent manager.
Talent manager?
Talent
manager of talents.
You know, Rai, I strongly agree.
Rise actually him.
Rai is him.
Someone go over there just to like
Piss him off.
mix
Yeah,
it up
go
a little
piss
bit.
him off, John.
All right, why do you disagree, John?
Nah, he's good.
I'm just with you.
Why do you guys think Rai's a good talent manager?
He literally does everything.
But nothing at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's pretty good.
He's very good at being professional and like when there's time for that, and he's very good at joking around when there's time for that and all that stuff. So keeps the team together well.
But he's not perfect. That's why I'm in only strongly agree.
Oh.
But give me my Chipotle, right?
He has his downside.
In fact, where's my pokey?
In fact, I think our food just got here.
The average ranked Immortal player is better than some Tier 1 pros.
Those are like definitely disagree.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, there should be like an extra thing.
Yeah, like this is like no
This
chance.
is like hell no. Because like most Immortals are pretty.
Even top Radiant players are really bad.
Yeah.
Like really, really bad.
Not like really bad, but like.
But they lack a lot.
They got their strengths.
Yeah. It's like they max out one stat.
Yeah.
Whether it's aim or like just comms.
Coaches in Valorant are overrated.
I gotta say disagree.
Coaches in Valorant are overrated.
Nah, I'm gonna go here.
All right, starting with John.
Coaches make plans, but at the end of the day, if it's not executed well, they can get the shaft, which sucks. And I know that a lot of coaches have a lot of impact, but end of the day, like the players have to perform to like a higher degree. But that doesn't like, I don't know if that takes away from the coaches, but I also definitely don't think it's overrated. I think they definitely help a lot. And I think they also, with the IGL, put the team on the same page. And a lot of times the IGLs need help as well. So they do a good job of like managing that whole thing.
Yeah, I think they're underrated. Honestly, I'm gonna move over here. I think they're underrated.
Ooh.
Oh. Depending on the team you have, they can either raise everybody up or bring them lower. And I think that's just a lot of impact to have for like one person.
You could keep the same 5 and have a different coach, and you will see completely different results. And whether that's like in the game, out the game stuff, the coach has like a lot of impact.
I think coaches see things the players don't while in game. I think they see like more stuff while you're playing than you will see, and I think they can help fix the problems that you may have.
I mean, I just had multiple coaches that like helped our team more than anything. It's pretty easy for me to say they're very like important.
The current map pool is the worst it's ever been.
Worst it's ever been? What is? I don't even know what's in the map. Like, I just like Bind a lot. Bind was a sick map. I was one of the few people that liked Abyss, so I like those maps, but they're gone now.
I think outside of Icebox, the map pool is pretty perfect. I do miss Bind as well. I think if there's no Icebox, just because they've never made any changes to it. So for me, Icebox is just an ultimate failure in terms of like a map to have in the game, and yet they continue to keep putting it in with no changes, which makes no sense. But outside of that, the map pool is good.
Probably the best. I think Breeze is out, Abyss is out, Icebox, like John said, still in, but that's okay. Every map right now is very enjoyable to watch.
Any meta that has Abyss and Breeze in it is just way worse. Or even just having one of those 2 maps is just worse, because both those maps are just terribly designed.
The end of last year when Abyss was in the map pool, I think that was the worst one.
If you don't stream, you'll fall behind in the scene.
I'll go here.
Damn, Twinum.
Why do you disagree?
It depends on who you are as a person and who you are as a pro, but a lot of the people that don't stream probably have a plan, hopefully, of like what they want to do in the future. Not everyone wants to continue in esports after they're done playing. A lot of people have other things they might want to do. If streaming is one of those things, then obviously you should build your brand up, but that's just one path of so many others. And then also the pro career, the average pro career doesn't last longer than 4 or 5 years. So ideally you have a plan for after that point, at least in your peak years. Your prime years are going to be in any sport, it's going to be like 4 to 5 years of dominance. Outside of that, you're looking for something else.
I agree. I think for like the majority of like players, yeah, if you don't stream and you just become bad, your career's over. There's a small percent where if you want to coach, if you want to do like analyst work, but even those, like anything regarding like the community, if you don't have a stream, it's like pretty tough.
Doesn't it help the argument of disagree though? Because
What was the question?
there's coaching, there's analysts, that you can always go into that without having a streaming background.
I'm going neutral, bro.
I'm only in agree thinking if you're a pro player and you don't stream afterwards, it doesn't have to be during, but if you don't stream afterwards, it'll be hard to become a pro player again if you fall off. Because in that case, if other teams are scouting and you don't stream and your last match is like a year ago, they have no idea like anything about you, your personality, if you've been keeping up with the game, stuff like that.
Fall behind in comparison to what, like financially fall behind? Like they just make a ton of money? You'll just become irrelevant?
Oh, like popularity wise.
Okay, yes,
popularity-wise?
then I'm gonna go there. Then yeah, like if it's popularity, then I'm here.
Riot balances Valorant more for casuals and pros.
Yeah.
Balances, like,
Actually,
Like balances the game. Like
Yes.
I'll go agree. Whoa.
I'm him. I think they balance it based on metas, and metas are defined by pros, so they balance it off us.
But like you don't think there's like different metas for ranked?
No.
I think.
Like an immortal?
No, think about
Like
think about like Clove, bro.
Like casual players.
about Clove.
Like
diamond to,
Clove, Clove comes out, no
percentage.
pro players are playing it, and they
I
nerf,
think-
they nerf Clove.
All right, there's like instances, yeah, but I think majority is like based on pro play. Let's say like Viper.
I strongly agree because I think they are under the like needs of the many over the needs of the few, and the few are obviously the pros, which makes sense. Obviously, there's way more ranked players than there are pros, and you want to help the game grow, and there's more of those people that are playing, so it makes sense that you would cater the game towards them. But at the same time, yeah, like it's just a fact, I think.
I'm in agree, only because I'm pretty sure I saw this somewhere from like a Riot video or like a Valorant video where they were explaining their changes on agents, like buffs and nerfs, based on their pick rate and ranked. And sometimes ranked isn't like what the meta is. But I will say there are times where like they also do listen to players and want feedback from players. So.
Yeah, I saw the same thing as Sam, where they nerf characters based on ranked, and that's the one reason why I'm on this side.
Adam?
I think majority of players are ranked players. So if something's broken in ranked and the casual fan base doesn't like it, then it makes sense to like nerf it, even if that affects like pro players more.
The skill gap between top teams isn't as big as fans think.
Isn't as big as it seems? Isn't as
All right, Ethan?
If you compare like G2 to like the bottom team in franchise, the gap is actually that big. The best team in NA will beat the worst team in NA like 9 out of 10 times.
But I feel like it's been like this for like every year I've played, at least I've played a franchise in, where like there's a big gap between just the top and bottom.
I mean, I've been upset by Shanks while being the best team. So it is possible.
That was that 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
1 out of 10.
Also true. No, I more went on this side because I wasn't looking at it that way, like that drastically. I was looking at it from like the way you said it, which was 100 Thieves, or like, I feel like the skill gap between 1 and 7 isn't that crazy.
Yeah.
But obviously, like as you go lower, it's like any sport. The worst team in the league will get destroyed by the best team in the league, just completely. Maybe it's off form, play style, whatever it is. You said skill, which is why I think there are a lot of skilled players on those teams still, but the team can't get it together. And I think that's why I disagree.
Yeah, I think the best team will not lose to like the worst team, but I do think it's not as big as like people think, and you can always get upset in this game because it's also pretty random sometimes.
I just think that the best teams are all pretty beatable. It's not like the gap is like massive. Even G2 just like showed in like a lot of the recent matches that teams are getting like really close to beating them, and they're like pretty much the best team in the world.
You can't always expect the best team to play their best on their day, on that day. So if the worst team plays their best and the best team plays their worst, the skill gap is completely even a lot of the times in a lot of matchups.
Winning VCT matters more than winning champs.
Like Masters? Winning Masters matters more than champs?
Or yeah.
Um,
Why do you strongly agree?
Because the title's way cooler. What? You get a purple gun buddy, and your title in game is a place, not just VCT 2024 winner. But like,
You get a whole year though. You don't get
don't listen.
You get like
Yeah,
a
but
little, you
you
get like a
win-
little city.
Yeah,
Like,
but you
I got a
win.
whole year.
yeah, but if I win a place, don't step foot in that place.
Put in my year, bro. Come on. I just feel like champs is usually like the culmination of the whole year. So basically, one team might be good at like the first Masters of the year. One team might be good in like the second one, but the last tournament of the year gets together who was the best all year. And so you play the best, not just in like a certain time period.
I think every pro player knows that champs is like the one that everyone wants, because you get remembered in like history basically. Like everyone remembers the champs winners.
I think it's the same because every tournament will have its own meta. Potentially, every tournament will have like teams leave form and stay in form, right? Maybe 2 teams or 3 teams a year that stay consistent throughout the whole year in terms of the results. It's like very hard to do because of the meta shifts and because of form. So I think every Masters and champs, like it's all the same realistically when it comes to like just logically looking at it. But obviously in terms of like prestige, I would say champs is insane, like in comparison to Masters. But like you said, there's a cool gun buddy involved. I mean,
Wait, so if you win champs, you don't get like a gun buddy?
no, you do.
You get a gold one, but not a purple one. The purple one is insane.
Yeah, I just think the meta changes a lot. Every team peaks at different times, is what John said, and that's what I agree on.
Valorant will never be as respected as CS.
Will never be.
Never?
Yeah. That's not a personal thing against Valorant. It's just the more events changes everything. And the opportunities that players have, it's like going back to a previous question about like opportunities in Valorant and like tier 2 being gate kept or whatever because of franchising or whatever. I think in Counter-Strike, if you are good enough, you will get up there. And it's not hard to like get up there, like to actually climb that ladder. There's nothing stopping you outside of your own skill and your own team's skill. Whereas in Valorant, you do have a process that you have to go through, which is much more like difficult per se. You have to like win Ascension.
I think just objectively, because CS has been out for way longer, multiple games have been out for way longer, it'll just naturally be respected more. Obviously, like the prestige and all of the tournaments that have been won and all that, and like especially all the, I guess, like eras in CS, like different teams, they can win for longer. Whereas in Valorant, it's just very spiky. No team really wins like more than once, other than like one or two teams.
I also think the pro play flourishes more when you have more opportunities, right? You get more players coming in.
Yeah, I think because there's so many different tournaments all year in CS, and also I feel like dynasties happen in that game compared to Valorant, and it's really hard to like consistently win in Valorant for like years straight. And I think in CS, like there's a lot of players who have like shown themselves to be really consistent like year after year, and I feel like it's really hard to do that in Valorant because of less matches and less chances to show yourself.
I'm only at neutral, only because I think CS, I think by default it's just more respected. And I think it will be for the next like however many years. But the only reason why I'm at neutral is because you said never.
Yeah, exactly.
So Valorant could, 40 years from now, I don't know, could be like sick. Yeah, it could be sick.
I mean, possible.
You never know. That's the only reason.
5, bro.
League of Legends has been
You said
alive
never,
for
bro.
so
You said never.
You can't say never.
Can't say
Never say
That's
never.
true. You
Yeah.
can't say never,
Bro,
but
look at
James.
LCS,
Justin
bro.
Bieber.
All of my points stand, but you can't say never.
Look at
You can never
LCS.
say never. Neutral.
Nah, I mean, LCS is...
Adam,
Putting my foot down.
I'm
LCS
only
is
here because
dead.
you said never too, but like I'll put it this way: like if I could choose which game I'd want to be pro in, I think I'd want to be pro in CS even still. Because like when I watch these events, like John said, it just looks so fun to play in front of.
You
like,
actually feel like a superstar.
you're playing in like a coliseum of people,
Yeah.
like 40,000
Yeah.
people. It's like crazy.
yeah. Newer players had it easier than older players coming up.
Newer players have it easier now than older players did back then. It's too easy back then. What?
No,
Does that make sense? Disagree? Is that's what that means?
Depends on your.
Yeah,
It was easier earlier on. Not for
Depends on your
maybe,
time
maybe
frame.
for you.
Depends on your time frame. It's different because his time coming up was like way easier than my time. Coming
I
up.
think the main disagree point will always just be there's way more people playing now. There's just way more competition now than there was back then.
That's true.
Straight up.
I think now that you have like ranked leaderboards and stuff like that, and like any ranked player can just grind and become rank 1. That actually like does impact their career like a lot. Like it sets them in like the right direction.
It's easier to go pro because of rank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think ranked helps, the ranked leaderboard, but I think it was harder back then, or easier back then.
There should be more international events.
There we go. Like, come on.
Yes.
So without question.
I think that one's a no-brainer. I think everyone in this game, like whether you're a casual player or a pro player, would want more events because that's more chances for you to gain like traction when it comes to like the motivation to keep playing. Everyone plays to win. And if you only have 3 chances and that's it, it's a lot of the times like you will see players who you feel like should have won. There are players, can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but like it's like crazy they haven't won a title for like how good they are, you know? And I feel like you should have more chances to do that.
Like even like one big tournament added on to the end of the year, it would be like good. Like even just one. Esports World Cup, I guess. That's like the first one.
Also just the amount of time off that you have in between for like players that are literally pros, that orgs have to pay these players for 6 months out of 6 months where they're not doing anything. If they don't win, then that's also like bad for the scene in general, because why would orgs want to consistently keep doing that? You know, it's not like a sustainable system.
I think it also keeps the game alive.
There's just too much off time.
Yeah, I think if you don't qualify for these LANs, you have like at least 2 months that you just don't even do anything other than practice. And I think that's just too much time off.
Even this year, like playing tournaments in the off season, like going to Korea and like playing Sun City, just makes it so much more fun.
Valorant is past its prime.
So it's gonna die soon, is like the implication here.
We can always go back to our prime, right? Can you go back to your prime? Is that a thing?
I'm not gonna lie, it's heading in that direction,
No,
but
no,
like I
agree.
said, it just comes down to everything we've already said. The sustainability of orgs wanting to be a part of a system where there's only 3 tournaments a year. I think it's just gonna die out over time. Hopefully it doesn't, but I think if it stays within that system, there's no third-party orgs, there's not enough tournaments, I don't see a way that this stays sustainable for orgs to keep paying players to play.
Why do you disagree, Ethan?
Honestly, I agree with everything John just said.
What?
So I'm just gonna go behind him. That all made hella sense. So no, that was good. That was yeah.
Valorant was in its prime when everyone was learning the game.
I think Valorant was the biggest right before franchising when there was all the orgs in, and even the first franchise year I think it was still big. I think slowly it's gotten smaller, but I think it could get back to that point, but who knows.
I think also like on top of what John said, when the meta is really bad, like right now with like Teo, a lot of casual players don't want to play. And I think that's a pretty big thing. Like a lot of my IRL friends just do not want to play Valorant. Like they just stop playing Valorant because it's just boring to them now.
It's true. When there's a character that's overpowered and you don't have that character in your ranked game, it makes a huge difference. Like for example, I know when Sam and I play ranked, we'll play Ascent and then the opponent has a KO and we don't. Genuine depression.
It's like the best way to put it.